Okay, let's do another spontaneous poetry reading. Because if you think too much about anything and try to get everything just right, you won't do anything. So I'm going to read you one of my last poems in English. This was written in 2018, I'm pretty sure, just before I left the United States. After this, I published a book of poems in Vietnamese. But this is pretty much the end for me. Well, I'll never say the end, you never know what's going to happen. But this was one of my last attempts at writing a poem in English. It was published in Poetry Magazine, and I got paid pretty damn well for it too, so can't complain about that. Anyway, I need to get a little focus. It's 2:55 a.m. on August 19th. 2026. The setting of this poem is 1986, okay? Okay, that should get me ready. I'm in my room in Vũng Tàu, by the way, in case you can't tell. Grace Ferry. The name itself is dismal. Stumbling into adulthood, I spent a year there on a narrow, much interrupted street. My austere block had a single sick tree. Tim Fender and I rented a row house for only $50 a month. Basically, it was a shell bought by this gay man who thought he would fix it up, but Grace Ferry made him so depressed he just had to bolt. Being Catholic Irish, this hood couldn't have been congenial to someone gay unless he's a priest. Still, I seriously doubt the neighbors did or said anything. They certainly didn't show hostility to Tim or me, two odd fags. Everyone suffered in Grace Ferry, and in 1986 it literally stank, for there were two huge lots filled with garbage, thanks to a 20-day strike by Ferry's garbage men. I had left art school without a degree, for why borrow money to learn painting from all these failed artists? Why not just slink somewhere and paint? Though I never amounted to crap as a painter, I've taught myself to write, sort of, instead of hawking my life to a bank just so I could be misled and muddled by stunted or puffed up typists. That year, I manned up and mainlined Celine's Death on the Installment Plan and his journey to the end of the night. After the first paragraph of Death, I knew there were risks to reading further, but until I could finish all 1,000 plus pages of these books, I didn't leave the house. It took me a week. Then I started my own novel, from which I would read on UPenn's WXPN. The response was great, actually, but people were just astonished by my on-air delirium, for the writing was a goofy mess. I had to toss it. WXPN liked my raving so much, even made me a host until I really went nuts on a live show. The Grace Ferry shell was freezing. I ate badly, drank rather well, kissed Rachel upside down, bit her lips, and not in a nice way either. I apologize, and I'm saying sorry again, for one can never say sorry enough. I am sorry. Any lived life will trail loose ends, but what are unforgivable are malice and betrayal. For a month, Tim had a boyfriend, then, much later, told me he wasn't really gay. I wasn't too gay myself, for my prospects as a human, artist, and writer were pathetic. Irrelevant, young artists and writers lie on gray sheets and dream of greatness as society sinks further into stupid. Hi, I'm stupid. This is stupid. Nice to meet you, stupid. The local, though, can never be stupid, but I didn't know this then, so I missed all of Grace Ferry's breath and death, which I never bothered to investigate. Tense, I talked to no locals. I simply assumed my future was in New York or at least downtown Philadelphia. What a farce. Had I mingled in Grace Ferry, I might have discovered a stray in soiled underwear. For 17 years, neighborhood boys would run to Swank Rittenhouse Square to sell their skid-marked fruit of the loom to Fast Eddie. A UPenn dropout, Eddie also paid these St. John Newman kids to piss, shit, or throw up into his mouth. He kept shit in pizza boxes. Though HIV positive, Ed had butt sex with some of these teenage boys. Before his trial, Uncle Ed died of AIDS. Eddie studied economics, then music, married his high school sweetheart, divorced her. The love of his life, though, was excreta. Messy yet meticulous, he saved all of his boys' underwear in 312 trash bags. To be an artist, you must not blunt your troubling vision, no matter how queer. Hedge and you be a half-assed punk. To be true, you must be willing to die. You must, as Gary Snyder says, kiss the ass of the devil and eat shit. You must have as much integrity as Uncle Eddie of Philadelphia. I may have misread a word or two, but fuck it. If I read it again, I'll misread another word or two. Shit happens. After this little stunt, I'll go back to reading Canetti. I was thinking of, well, I'm always thinking of traveling somewhere, but I need to just relax and stay put for a little while. Because if I do things too quickly, I fuck up, you know. I've been thinking about returning to USA just to see what it's like. I even thought I'd fly to, say, Juarez or even Tijuana, for the rooms are cheaper there, and then I'll stay there, and I love Juarez anyway. And then, you know, cross the border and take an Amtrak to Los Angeles, then fly home. But that sounds a little bit complicated. So I will probably put it off. A return to Italy too would be a nice effort. Maybe I'll fly to Naples. Anyway, there are options. So I'm lucky. I still have options. All right, goodbye for now from my room in Vũng Tàu, Vietnam. All right, take care.